The moment you decide to awaken the third eye, you step into a dimension where perception is no longer limited by what the eyes can see. This is not merely a metaphysical idea, it is a conscious expansion of the mind, a journey into the very core of awareness, where your deepest intuitions become vivid and undeniable. The third eye, hidden behind the veil of your forehead, is the gateway to subtle truths, to wisdom that transcends ordinary experience, and it responds only to the seeker who approaches with patience, clarity, and devotion to inner exploration. Every thought you carry, every emotion you entertain, becomes the key that either locks or unlocks this ancient center of perception. Take a moment now and declare silently, or write it in the comments, "I am ready to see beyond the visible." Let this phrase become your activation mantra, simple and potent. Repeat it often and let it resonate through the layers of your consciousness. If you wish to accelerate this journey, join the Thoth channel and become a member, immersing yourself in teachings that awaken subtle awareness, sharpen perception, and harmonize the mind with the hidden archetypes of wisdom. The first step is awareness of the mind itself. Most people wander through life unaware of the mental patterns that confine perception. Your third eye is a mirror to these patterns, reflecting the unseen forces of your own psyche. By observing thoughts without judgment, by allowing silence to become the landscape of your attention, you create fertile ground for insight. Each time you witness your mind's habitual reactions, you exercise the latent faculties of perception that Thoth describes as the keys to inner vision. This is not about seeing with the eyes. It is about perceiving the underlying currents of reality. Next, we cultivate the subtle senses. These are not physical senses. They are the intuitive capacities that respond to symbols, archetypes, and the resonance of ideas. You may notice subtle flashes of imagery, fleeting impressions, or intuitive nudges. These are the first whispers of the third eye awakening. Keep a journal, draw, or write what comes, even if it seems trivial. Each record strengthens your inner dialogue with the unseen and trains the mind to recognize the language of higher perception. Meditation becomes your laboratory. Sit quietly, focus gently on the point between the eyebrows, and observe what arises. Resist the urge to analyze or control. Simply observe. The third eye is like a young student. It learns through presence, not force. Patterns will appear as visions, insights, or sudden clarity. These are messages encoded in your own mind, reflections of archetypal wisdom that Thoth preserved in images, symbols, and teachings. Treat each vision as a sacred guide, a step closer to understanding the mechanics of consciousness. Breath is the bridge. Your third eye responds not only to mental focus, but to the rhythm of life itself. Deep, measured breathing oxygenates the mind and synchronizes internal energy flows, subtly aligning the neural pathways that support perception beyond the physical senses. Practice slow inhalations and exhalations, imagining light gathering at the center of the forehead with each breath. This is a symbolic but profoundly effective activation, allowing the mind to settle and the third eye to open its awareness gradually. Symbols are the language of the hidden mind. Draw, visualize, or meditate upon ancient symbols connected to clarity, insight, and wisdom. In Egyptian teachings, Thoth is the master of these symbols, each carrying a resonance that echoes in the psyche. Let these symbols become familiar companions. Contemplate them daily and allow their meanings to emerge organically within your own mind. Do not rush. The third eye is patient, responding to devotion, consistency, and subtle attentiveness. Another essential principle is detachment from distraction. The modern mind is fragmented, constantly pulled by sensory input and external demands. To awaken the third eye, create periods of intentional stillness. Limit exposure to mental clutter, silence the noise, and observe the internal dialogue. As the mind becomes less reactive, the hidden vision within begins to surface. This clarity does not appear instantly. It develops like a delicate flower, unfolding petal by petal under the care of sustained awareness. Visualization is a powerful practice. Imagine a luminous sphere of light at the center of your forehead, expanding gently with each breath. Feel it pulse, oscillate, and resonate with your deepest intentions for awareness. These visualizations train the brain to recognize subtle patterns of light, symbol, and resonance that ordinary perception ignores. Over time, this cultivated vision merges with intuition, allowing insights to flow naturally into conscious awareness without effort or expectation. Integration of daily life is crucial. Awakening the third eye is not an escape. It is a deepening of perception while fully engaging with the world. Observe your interactions, notice patterns of thought and emotional response, and reflect on the symbolic meaning of daily experiences. This practice strengthens the neural and energetic pathways that connect inner vision to lived reality, creating a seamless awareness that is both profound and practical. Attention to energy, in subtle terms, enhances the process. The body carries rhythms, sensations, and micro-perceptions that often go unnoticed. Develop awareness of these subtle cues through mindful observation of posture, breath, and inner resonance. Each shift in attention fine-tunes the perceptual apparatus, preparing the third eye to perceive the nuances of inner and outer realities simultaneously. Discernment is the guardian of insight. The mind must learn to differentiate between random thoughts, emotional noise, and true intuitive signals. Keep a practice of quiet reflection at the end of each day, reviewing what arose in meditation, visualization, and observation. Patterns of clarity will emerge, subtle but undeniable, guiding you deeper into the perception of archetypal truths and inner symbols. Symbolic journaling deepens understanding. Sketch archetypes, write impressions, or record flashes of insight. The third eye thrives on this interaction with inner imagery, interpreting and refining it through repeated observation. Over time, the mind learns to translate these subtle symbols into practical understanding, transforming abstract perception into actionable insight. Body alignment and presence support mental clarity. Simple postures, mindful movement, and awareness of bodily sensations anchor consciousness. The third eye functions optimally when the mind and body are harmonized, allowing perception to extend beyond conventional limitations. Treat your body as the vessel, your mind as the lens, and your awareness as the light that passes through. Consistency is more important than intensity. Brief daily engagement with awareness, visualization, and reflection will produce results far beyond sporadic, intense efforts. The third eye is cultivated, not forced. Regular practice builds neural pathways, deepens intuition, and strengthens the connection between mind, body, and the subtle layers of consciousness. Nature is a mirror of inner states. Observing the patterns of light, shadow, and movement in the natural world can reflect the archetypal forms that your third eye perceives internally. Walk slowly, observe carefully, and allow the inner mind to resonate with external patterns. These reflections awaken subtle understanding and synchronize internal perception with the rhythms of life. Language shapes perception. Speak to yourself with clarity, simplicity, and intention. Affirmations, when grounded in observation and awareness, act as gentle guides for attention. Avoid abstract or complex formulations. Instead, use direct, simple phrases that resonate deeply. Words are symbols themselves, and when chosen consciously, they align the mind with the archetypal currents the third eye interprets. Sleep and rest integrate perception. Dreams often carry messages from the subconscious and archetypal mind. Keep a dream journal, record impressions immediately upon waking, and reflect on patterns. The third eye interprets these symbols and feeds them back into waking insight. Sleep becomes not a pause, but a continuation of perception in another dimension of consciousness. Emotion is a compass. Feelings are not distractions. They are subtle signals, guiding awareness. Observe emotional patterns, recognize recurring triggers, and allow them to illuminate hidden perceptions. Emotional awareness strengthens the resonance of the third eye, providing a depth of understanding that is both practical and profoundly transformative. Time and patience are allies. Awakening the third eye is a gradual process, a journey rather than an instant event. Respect the pace of your mind and consciousness. Recognize small shifts, celebrate subtle insights, and remain devoted to consistent practice. The third eye opens not through urgency, but through quiet, persistent attentiveness to inner life. Your curiosity is the ultimate key. Approach each moment with wonder, each observation with openness. The third eye responds to curiosity more than expectation. By embracing exploration, reflection, and patient observation, you allow subtle perception to flourish naturally, guiding you toward profound insights, a deeper understanding of symbols, and an intimate connection with the archetypal wisdom of Thoth that has echoed across centuries. Perception is not a passive faculty, it is an active dialogue between consciousness and the subtle layers of reality. The third eye does not simply reveal visions, it reframes the very way the mind interprets signals from within and without. Each fleeting thought, each fleeting impression carries an encoded resonance, a hint of patterns that only the prepared mind can decode. To awaken this center, you must cultivate a state of presence where distraction dissolves and observation becomes the art of noticing what is invisible yet profoundly real. In this state, symbols from your dreams, memories, and fleeting intuitions begin to converge, forming a lattice of understanding that illuminates the hidden architecture of your awareness. The mind often confuses intensity with progress, believing that more effort produces faster results. Yet the third eye thrives on subtlety, nuance, and the quiet unfolding of awareness. Imagine a drop of water falling into a still pool. The ripples extend far beyond what the eye can see. Similarly, gentle, deliberate attention to your inner landscape produces waves of perception that expand into dimensions previously unrecognized. This is the method Thoth encoded. Mastery not through force, but through disciplined receptivity, allowing consciousness to attune itself to the underlying frequencies of life. Time, as commonly understood, is irrelevant here. The third eye operates outside linear constructs. It perceives cycles, patterns, and resonances that ordinary thought overlooks. Begin noticing recurring motifs in your inner life. The same images, sensations, or questions appearing in different contexts. These are the markers of archetypal currents, the signals your subtle mind generates when it is beginning to awaken. By tracking these patterns, you train the perceptual apparatus to recognize the rhythm of consciousness, allowing insight to appear almost effortlessly in moments of reflection. Imagination becomes a bridge, yet it must be disciplined. Not all imagery serves awakening. The mind can create illusions as easily as insights. To navigate this, anchor each visualization in a core awareness, the steady focus between the eyebrows, the gentle awareness of breath, the quiet observation of thought. In this anchored state, images transform from fleeting fantasies into instructive signs, revealing layers of understanding previously hidden beneath habitual mental noise. This is the silent guidance of the inner eye, a whisper rather than a shout, subtle yet undeniable when you attune properly. Observation of the body becomes a mirror of consciousness. Micro-tensions, habitual postures, and subtle energetic shifts carry encoded information about mental states. By noticing these details, you learn to interpret the language of your own physiology, revealing how thought, emotion, and perception are intertwined. This is not about controlling the body, but about translating its subtle messages into guidance for awakening. The third eye perceives these correlations naturally, turning ordinary physical awareness into a profound tool for inner navigation. Silence, more than meditation alone, is the essential canvas. Not just the absence of sound, but the deliberate cultivation of mental quietude, where judgment and expectation fade, allowing perception to arise organically. In this silence, the mind uncovers hidden connections between ideas, memories, and images that ordinarily appear disconnected. Each insight is a fractal of understanding, revealing how your consciousness interacts with larger patterns that govern subtle reality. Thoth emphasized the power of this quietude as the foundational stage for awakening insight beyond the ordinary senses. Memory is not a mere storage of events, it is an active archive of archetypal knowledge. As you deepen observation, certain memories will surface, carrying with them patterns and symbols that resonate with current experiences. These are not coincidences. They are the mind's way of preparing the subtle apparatus of perception. By reflecting on these memories with awareness, allowing them to reveal their symbolic significance, the third eye gradually becomes capable of perceiving truths that transcend ordinary temporal constraints. Energy perception begins subtly. It is not about feeling mystical currents. It is about noticing micro-changes in attention, sensation, and thought in response to environments, symbols, and interactions. By tuning to these subtle variations, you learn to interpret the signals that guide deeper awareness. The third eye is sensitive to these shifts, responding to a mind trained to notice, reflect, and synthesize rather than chase external stimuli. Each observation becomes a lesson in the language of consciousness itself. The act of questioning is transformative. Ask not only external questions, but internal ones. What is truly happening beneath this thought? What recurring symbol persists, and why? This interrogation is not for immediate answers, but for deep alignment with inner patterns. The third eye responds to questions with subtle cues, insights that appear in dreams, flashes of intuition, or sudden clarity in meditation. Through consistent questioning, the mind trains itself to recognize these cues, distinguishing genuine insight from mental chatter. Patterns in the external world act as mirrors for inner perception. Observe natural cycles, the rhythm of light and shadow, or subtle changes in weather, movement, and sound. Reflect on these as symbolic expressions of internal states. By seeing the interrelation between external patterns and internal perception, the mind begins to operate on multiple layers simultaneously, integrating subtle signals into a cohesive understanding of consciousness. Attention to language reshapes perception. Words carry resonance, and the phrases you repeat to yourself subtly influence how consciousness interprets the world. Simple, intentional language, phrases aligned with clarity, focus, and awareness, serves as a scaffolding for the third eye. Each repetition strengthens the neural and symbolic pathways of perception, creating an environment where insight emerges naturally and reliably. Emotional precision is essential. Subtle variations in feeling are often overlooked, but carry profound information about perception and inner alignment. By observing emotional responses without judgment, you discover their symbolic meanings and how they guide intuitive awareness. The third eye interprets these signals, creating a refined sense of inner intelligence that translates directly into practical insight. Integration of thought and feeling is not optional, it is necessary. The third eye perceives holistically, merging cognitive patterns with emotional resonance to form a unified vision. Develop practices that cultivate this integration. Reflect on how emotions interact with recurring images. Explore how beliefs shape intuition, and notice the subtle signals your mind generates when these elements align. Each session of reflection strengthens the perceptual apparatus, refining the mind's ability to decode archetypal and symbolic information. Attention to transitions amplifies awareness. Moving from one state of consciousness to another, waking, dreaming, focused attention, meditative calm, creates opportunities for insight. Notice the subtle shifts in thought and perception as these transitions occur. The third eye is most active when the mind is attuned to these liminal moments, recognizing the continuity of consciousness across apparent boundaries. Curiosity without expectation opens new pathways. Instead of seeking results, immerse yourself in observation and exploration. The third eye responds to openness and wonder, not pressure or demand. By embracing the unknown and allowing the mind to explore freely, subtle insights arise spontaneously, revealing truth that cannot be forced or predicted. Memory, perception, and intuition converge in pattern recognition. Observe recurring symbols across dreams, daily experiences, and meditative visions. These repetitions are not accidental. They are the language through which the subconscious communicates archetypal truths. By tracking and reflecting upon them, the third eye becomes a translator of this language, providing a map of consciousness that extends beyond conventional understanding. The rhythm of breath synchronizes mind and subtle perception. Each inhalation and exhalation pulses through attention, influencing thought and imagery. By observing these cycles, the third eye learns to interpret subtle signals embedded in the rhythm of being. This is not an abstract exercise. It is a practical method of aligning awareness with the deeper currents of consciousness that guide insight and clarity. Observation of light, shadow, and contrast reveals hidden perceptions. The mind unconsciously mirrors the world it observes. By studying variations in external light, reflections, and subtle contrasts, the third eye begins to perceive analogous shifts within consciousness. These observations create a bridge between inner and outer perception, training the mind to detect subtleties that ordinary awareness misses. Consistency in practice, even in small increments, produces exponential growth. The third eye develops like a seed, responding not to force, but to steady attention, reflection, and awareness. Each session, no matter how brief, strengthens neural and symbolic pathways, refining the ability to perceive archetypal patterns and subtle signals that were previously unnoticed. Curiosity combined with reflection transforms ordinary observation into active insight. The third eye is a mirror of your mind's willingness to notice, question, and synthesize. By approaching every perception with inquiry, every thought with subtle analysis, and every emotion with awareness, the mind enters a continuous loop of refinement, opening doors to layers of understanding that are simultaneously intimate, expansive, and transformative. Awakening the third eye is less about achieving a spectacle and more about noticing the subtleties that already exist within your perception. You may imagine that seeing beyond requires extraordinary circumstances, yet the truth is that every moment holds coded information, a mosaic of signals that the ordinary mind overlooks. As you develop awareness, you realize that insight does not arrive as a grand revelation, but as quiet adjustments, imperceptible at first, like a tide slowly reshaping a shore. Every nuance of thought, each hesitation, and every pattern of attention becomes the material through which the third eye sharpens, revealing layers of reality that coexist with the familiar world. Movement, even subtle, affects perception. Not all practice is stillness. The third eye interprets motion, rhythm, and cadence as signals for subtle awareness. Attention to posture is more than physical alignment. It is alignment of consciousness. Subtle tensions, habitual positions, and micro-adjustments encode information about thought, emotion, and focus. By noticing and refining these cues, you refine the perceptual apparatus of the third eye. Each adjustment is not merely physical but symbolic, a calibration of mind, body, and awareness that opens subtle channels for insight to flow with clarity and precision. Symbols emerging spontaneously are not to be dismissed. Every recurring image or idea carries resonance with archetypal meaning. Observe them, trace their variations, and allow their resonance to inform decisions, reflections, and meditative practice. These symbols are not arbitrary. They encode the language of consciousness itself. The third eye deciphers these patterns gradually, providing insight that feels organic, inevitable, and profoundly transformative, yet always subtle enough to avoid overwhelming the ordinary mind. Dreams are gateways, but the true art is not in interpretation alone. It is in noticing patterns across multiple layers of consciousness. Each dream carries archetypal resonance, reflecting states of mind, unresolved tensions, and intuitive insights. By cultivating awareness of recurring motifs and subtle emotional cues, you transform the dream state into a laboratory for perception, training the third eye to recognize meaning in the ordinary and extraordinary alike. Breath synchronizes internal awareness with subtle perception. Observe variations in rhythm, depth, and texture of each inhalation and exhalation. These micro-oscillations of life are cues that the third eye interprets, linking body, mind, and subtle insight. Breathing becomes not only sustenance but a tool, calibrating attention, enhancing sensitivity to inner patterns, and allowing intuition to emerge organically. Curiosity is the engine of awakening. Approach every moment with active, yet patient inquiry. Question not only what appears, but what lies beneath appearances. The third eye is tuned to this type of exploration, responding to questions that arise without attachment to answers. Insight is cultivated in the space between inquiry and observation, revealing layers of consciousness that operate beyond expectation or control. Micro-perception matters more than grand gestures. Notice subtle shifts in attention, fleeting emotions, or small movements in thought. These are the indicators that your third eye is active, engaging in the invisible dialogue between internal and external worlds. By cultivating sensitivity to these minute cues, you expand perceptual capacity far beyond what conventional attention allows, training the mind to detect subtle realities constantly unfolding. Integration of daily life with inner observation transforms awareness into practice. Each interaction, decision, and reflection becomes an opportunity to exercise subtle perception. Observe patterns in behavior, thought, and emotional response. The third eye sees these connections, creating insight that is practical, deeply resonant, and integrated into lived experience rather than abstract or separate. Attention to contrast enhances perception. Observe differences, light and shadow, movement and stillness, silence and sound. These contrasts are not opposites but signals, teaching the mind to discern subtleties, refine awareness, and detect hidden structure within apparent randomness. The third eye interprets these signals organically, strengthening the capacity for perception that is precise, flexible, and expansive. Symbols of light and dark are not simply aesthetic. They encode rhythm, pattern, and resonance. By noticing how these qualities emerge in meditation, reflection, and daily observation, you train the third eye to perceive depth in subtle variation. This process is less about seeking specific visions and more about cultivating sensitivity to nuance, allowing perception to expand naturally without forcing extraordinary experiences. The act of reflection is itself a medium. Revisit moments of attention, observe recurring patterns, and notice subtle deviations. Each reflection serves as calibration, aligning perception with internal and external rhythms. The third eye integrates these insights, creating a continuously refined lens through which ordinary experiences become portals to deeper understanding. Attention to transitions between activity and stillness, thought and awareness, dreaming and waking, is a gateway to subtle perception. The third eye thrives in liminal spaces, recognizing continuity in consciousness, where the ordinary mind sees separation. Cultivating awareness of these transitions strengthens subtle perception, creating a flow of insight that bridges all states of experience seamlessly. Consistency over intensity is the secret many overlook. The third eye does not awaken through sporadic, forceful effort, but through steady, gentle engagement. Daily attention to subtle patterns, reflection, and observation accumulates exponentially, deepening perception and cultivating intuition in ways that sudden effort cannot. Each practice, however small, reinforces neural, symbolic, and archetypal pathways essential for awakening. This is not a channel. It is a sanctuary for those who remember. If you recognize the call, step inside, not to follow, but to remember yourself among those who see.